Mbra. I'm a berry Ugona. This is also me or every one of us here, wishing all workers a happy Workers' Day. Yesterday was the 1st of May. Today is the 2nd of May, and we're still in the spirit of celebrating all the workers in Anambra State and, of course, the world over. Happy Workers' Day. Yesterday we were at Ekweme Square where we had to meet each other. Of course, the governor was there. Governor Chukwuma Soludo was there with his deputy and other people to, celebrate with the workers. So once again, congratulations to all workers. And of course, let's keep doing what we have to do and what we need to do to make the world a better place. It's time now for us to go through the papers this morning. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. Yes, glad to have you back this morning. It's time for us to look at the various papers we have this morning. But first, I would like to introduce my guest in the house this morning who's going to be helping us. Both of us will be looking at the papers and, of course, I'm sharing ideas on what is going on in the country. I'm talking about Mr. Ifeanyi Chukwu Ezefunamba. He is a public affairs analyst. Good to have you on the show, Ifeanyi.
Good to have you too. Good morning.
Yes, welcome. Quickly, let's kickstart with stories making the headlines on our ABS website. And of course, the very first story there says, Soludo reassures youths of brighter prospects. And the second one says, Anambra lawmaker Ume urges NDLEA to sustain sensitization of youths on dangers of illicit drugs. Soludo asks Anambra workers to embrace constructive development, assures of brighter prospects. And we also have Anambra State government intensifies waste disposal in Oka and environs. Kenya hikes minimum wage by 12%. And of course, we have Buhari optimistic of victory over insecurity. Well, this is stories making the headlines on our ABS website. Which would you want us to talk about?
Anambra State intensifying the work on waste disposal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I want to say something. They say cleanliness is next to godliness.
Sure.
So the government is doing a good work with the help of the Commissioner for Environment, Honorable Felix Odumegu. He's one person ever since he has been appointed into that, appointed as a Commissioner for Environment. He's been doing a whole lot of work. We have been seeing his work with the Deputy Governor also, going from local government to local government, from Onitsha. They began from Onitsha, they moved down to Oka, moved down to other environments around. Waste is one thing that, when people dump it by the roadside, it's unhealthy. Because people who walk through the roadside, if you inhale it, it can give damage to your body, which you do not know about. So I want to say the government is doing a good work there in, getting the environment cleaned up. Also on Soludo assuring youth on brighter prospect. Yeah, he is meant to do that for the youth, because from looking at the point of things, the youth actually, if the youth vote you into power, it's expected of you that, you give them back, what they expected you to give to them when you get to office. So it is really expected that, he gives the dividend of representation and democracy.
All right.
To the youth.
I'll pause you there. Let's go for a short break. When we come back, you will tell me more about the waste, because you said something about the waste disposal. The commissioner is working, the government is working. I'm going to be asking you next, why is the citizen making life difficult, for the country? We'll be right back. Stay with us. It's Good Morning, Anambra.
Great news for Anambra Broadcasting Service ABS audience. You can now watch ABS television through any of these ways.
Buy a terrestrial antenna and connect to your television. Search ABS Channel 24 Oka or ABS Channel 27 Onitsha. Install StarTimes cable decoder and search ABS Channel 113. Install Metro Digital cable decoder and search ABS Channel 29.
Watch ABS TV on your smart TV or smartphone by downloading Anambra Broadcasting Service app on Google Play Store. Also watch via ABS Facebook page at ABS Radio Television and ABS YouTube page at ABS Television Oka.
ABS TV is now also on satellite. You can watch us from anywhere in Nigeria and other African countries. Simply install our TV decoder brand and tune to channel 315 or install any free-to-air satellite decoder and search for ABS TV.
Whichever option you choose, stay abreast of breaking news, documentaries, children's shows, talk shows, comedy, sports, movies, and lots more on your darling TV station.
For adverts and program sponsorship, contact 0803 388 8526 or 0806 883.
Great news for Anambra Broadcasting Service ABS audience. You can now watch ABS television through any of these ways.
Buy a terrestrial antenna and connect to your television. Search ABS Channel 24 Oka or ABS Channel 27 Onitsha. Install StarTimes cable decoder and search ABS Channel 113. Install Metro Digital cable decoder and search ABS Channel 29.
Watch ABS TV on your smart TV or smartphone by downloading Anambra Broadcasting Service app on Google Play Store. Also watch via ABS Facebook page at ABS Radio Television and ABS YouTube page at ABS Television Oka.
ABS TV is now also on satellite. You can watch us from anywhere in Nigeria and other African countries. Simply install our TV decoder brand and tune to channel 315 or install any free-to-air satellite decoder and search for ABS TV.
Whichever option you choose, stay abreast of breaking news, documentaries, children's shows, talk shows, comedy, sports, movies, and lots more on your darling TV station.
For adverts and program sponsorship, contact 0803 388 8526 or 0806 883 9902. ABS, Heartbeat of the East.
We're glad to have you back. We're still looking at the various papers we have this morning, and we've just been joined by another public affairs analyst in the studio this morning, the person of Comrade Abuchi Omumelo. Abuchi, good to have you on the show.
Good morning, Anambra.
Yes, and just before you joined us, me and Ifeanyi have been looking at the various stories making the headlines on our ABS website, and he's talked about the Anambra State government intensifying waste disposal in Oka and environs. And of course, we also have Soludo reassures youths of brighter prospect. We have Anambra lawmaker Ume urges NDLEA to sustain sensitization of youths on dangers of illicit drugs. We also have Soludo asks Anambra workers to embrace constructive development, assures of brighter prospect. And down there, we've got Kenya hikes minimum wage by 12% and Buhari optimistic of victory over insecurity. He's talked about the waste disposal in Oka. Which would you want to talk about, Abuchi?
Actually, I want to share your sentiments on the waste disposal. In fact, it is real thing that the government of Anambra State have the action they've taken, which is actually a right move in the right direction. I'm totally in support. The last time, that was on Friday, the deputy governor was seen at Nise trying to evacuate, or rather give an order ordering those people who go about scavengers to leave the place because they actually constitute nuisance, you know. So if we must get it right, we must start with the environment, you know. So the cleanliness is next to what? Godliness. So there need for us to do what? To make sure that our environment are clean. So I actually support the government in what they are doing at Opoku, Onitsha, and environment. And there, the governor spoke yesterday at Ekweme Square that from Oka here, the next one in Newe and the Kulobia. So that tells you the kind of government we are trying to, the measures they are trying to put in place. So it boils down to you and I. In our own little corner, what are we doing to make sure that it's clean? So we should join the government in trying to drive out this message that we need to put out every waste around us to the desired destination, because there are designated points where this refuge should be dumped and not recklessly.
Okay, so I was going to ask you if because we're still talking about this waste issue. Why do the citizens have a big problem being clean?
Obeying government.
Why do they have a big problem being clean? Because, for instance, you and I travel to the UK, to the US, to any of those Western countries, and we dare not. We don't even need anybody to tell us. We dare not drink a bottle of water and throw it on the road. Why is it a norm here? Is it that the education we have is not working? Or is it that we don't just give a hoot about the government, or we don't give a hoot about our health? What is the problem?
Well, one thing I would always tell people is that, look, the hardest thing anybody can manage is human beings. We are the hardest things anybody can manage. And it's how people grew up. Because when you see something that is like a habit with someone, before you can change it, before you can change the ideology, before you can change the mindset, it takes a whole lot of time. I think we have, I think this should go to the public. Those who are parents, bus conductors, drivers, whomever, that make pedestrians, whenever walking on the road, because the young ones who are growing up, when they see these older ones do these things, they take it as a norm. They grow with that mindset that, drinking something and throwing it on the street, on the road is a normal thing. Nothing is meant to be done. And also, the government also should try their possible best also in putting dustbins like these dons at strategic points of our roads. Let me say at close to hotels, close to buildings, close to schools, so that, and weekly, they should be, the waste management should be sent out every week, or let me say 2 days in a week, to go evacuate the waste, so that it won't be causing harm to people. But on the side of the citizen, I think we are the one who is doing ourselves, because though we can change the mindset, but even if we can change the mindset, it's something that's still going to have to take time. But whenever we drink something, someone is always watching at us, whether we are in our car, whether we are in anywhere, and someone is watching, thinking is a normal thing.
All right, thank you. He said it's going to take time, mindset. Do you also believe that? Because if you're telling me you're going to take time, you go to the US, it immediately starts.
Yeah, that's why I said that we've gotten an actionable plan or being put in place by the present administration. So they are leading the line and we are following. Like I said, it's no longer business as usual. In fact, if you really want to know how people behave, look at the person leading them. The government of the day is trying to sanitize Anambra, and I believe that in the Anambra, being Republicans in nature, we don't like force, but we fall in line. So I agree with him that with time, though, but with the way we are going, a lot of things will be changed, that the mindset will naturally change. So as for the parents not doing their bit, I think it's still high time. We need to inculcate in our children how to dispose waste. Like you will be in your home, you say he's at home. Somebody will finish drinking a sachet water and you just dispose it indiscriminately. No, you should tell him, please take it to the dustbin or take it to a social place. That is how to inculcate in that person that it is not right to dispose waste indiscriminately. So that is what I'm trying to say.
And the government also should also have what would I call them, a team that looks into this, that if you disobey the government order by throwing waste on the roadside, you will be punished for it, you will be penalized for it. In Cross River State, I think this is well in place, that in fact you hardly see people throw things on the roadside. That's when I was there back then. I cannot tell for now, but back then, if you throw anything on the road, there are some people they call them DOPT. They would penalize you immediately, stop your car, and you do the needful.
All right. Well, Michael Jackson once said that if you want the change to start, it does start with you. That's the man in the mirror. So, yes, the governor was at Ekweme Square yesterday, and, he said some couple of words also that actually has to do with this. So it starts with you. Keep your surrounding clean. Keep wherever you are clean. Then just maybe, we could get to our desired destination. Let's quickly move to our very first paper this morning. The Sun newspaper is our first one. The big story there says, APC okays automatic Senate tickets for outgoing governors. And of course, with riders there, NWC yet to decide. And that's coming from spokesman. PDP uncertainty over Ayim Obi orders alliance. And with the riders, their aspirant heads to court to stop primary. PDP committee cancels Anambra congresses. And of course, down here we've got 2023 Labour tax INEC, security agencies on free fair pools. Nigeria signs agreement with Cuba on vaccine production, biopharmaceutical products. And Eid al-Fitr celebration, IJP orders tight security at praying ground, recreational centers, and others. Finally, down there we've got NDLEA intercepts 1.1 billion travelers check, 10.89 kg cocaine at Lagos Airport. Let me begin with you, Ifeanyi. Which would you want to talk about?
I want to talk about on the Daily Sun.
Okay.
About APC, OK's automatic ticket for outgoing governors, though the National Working Committee is yet to decide. But I want to send this message to the APC National Working Committee that if you have to OK automatic ticket to outgoing governors, it should be governors who did well.
Okay.
We cannot we cannot keep, if a governor did a mistake while on seat, he didn't do the needful, he's still going to have to be sent back or to be sent to a higher position. What do you expect him to do? You're just going to send him there to only going to be acting based on embezzlement of funds. He's not going to be giving the dividend of democracy to his people. The people will be lacking in social amenities, and so on and so forth. So if the National Working Committee of APC has to, give an automatic ticket to outgoing governors, yes, there's sometimes you see someone and you would give the person, political party does that, like they can give you a waiver, to contest an election even if you just newly joined their party. So if APC has to do that, it has to be to governors who really did well while in seat.
Quickly, what's your take?
Yeah, I don't think this is just what we call leaving the substance and be chasing shadows. The APC the hierarchy is really playing to the gallery. I see no point trying to take such a decision at this point in time. We all know the performance, or even without being told, we know what they've done and how poorly, dismally they performed in their various states. We're talking about economic downturn and the economic sabotage, which most of them are the contributing factors, what we are facing right now. Majority of them shouldn't be talking about going to the Senate to go and continue with what they've started in publishing the masses.
All right.
So I don't think it's right. We need to get people who are really out there to serve the interests of Nigerian people.
All right, leadership paper is the next. Let's look at the big story on leadership. The big one says Eid al-Fitr PMB promises final victory against terrorists and enemies of state. Let's look at that big story to start with. Let me begin with you, Abuchi. The situation of insecurity has been ongoing for a very long time. Yeah. Now the presidency is assuring. What's your take quickly on that?
The reassurance has been a recurring decimal. It has been something we are used to. Yeah. We get at them. We're on top of the situation. The presidency kicked out the service chiefs. Had a shouting match with the service chiefs and all that. We've had series of issues without being backed with action. So what we're saying is that it's not just enough to assure us on the pages of newspaper. We really want action. We all notice what is going on all over the state. The insecurity is rife, and we must find a way. We must find a way, definitely, to do what, to put a stop to it. Killing is now becoming a daily occurrence in this part of the world. No one regards the sanctity of human life. People are killing people randomly, recklessly, with reckless abandon. So what I'm saying is that it's not just enough to say you are reassured. The last time I was there, the presidency were still talking about calling on the service chief to buckle up. Today we are talking about reassurance. We need measures in place to address this issue of insecurity headlong.
All right, before we continue, let's also tell you that you can join discussion this morning. The numbers are on your screen there. You can actually call the number and, of course, join the discussion. If there are questions you need to ask, there are contributions you need to make, we will welcome all of that when you call us. Let's quickly move to the next paper, the Punch newspaper. Let's look at the big one on the Punch. There it says, subsidy deduction hits states hard. Governors owe salary, workers lament. Of course, with riders there, no FAC remittance from NNPC in first quarter. Subsidy gobs 675.93 billion. That's coming from a report. Ganduje owes retirees 25 billion naira gratuities and orders. NLC says Wike owes pensioners. Benue, Ondo, Ekiti orders owe workers salary, gratuities, pensioners growing. Let me begin with you, Ifeanyi. Subsidy deduction his state had. Governors owe salary and workers are lamenting. Remember, we're still celebrating the Workers' Day.
Of course, subsidy deductions, and it hit hard. Well, what I have to say here is leadership.
Okay.
In quotes, is not easy.
Okay.
You get, but government owing its workers salary, it's really not cool. It's really not good, because the civil servants, constitute about 80 to 85% of a body that elects the government. That's the new government. So if you tend to play with your workers' salary, you're indirectly saying that, hey, I'm not sure I want to, return back here. You get my point? So a laborer is entitled to his wages. If you work, you have to be paid.
All right.
So the government have to put in machineries to, pay up workers, no matter what it is.
All right, quickly, what's your take on
Yeah,
that? Because
my contribution is straight. This is reason why we said we can never have a state like Anambra. And when we say, some people will say we are trying to project the government of the day. No. Imagine why other states were owing as a result of the deductions on subsidy. The government, Anambra workers, receive their salary, receive their May as and when due. So now some persons are owing over there, and these are the governors we expect tomorrow they will start vying for Senate. Now talk about Anambra. This is the continuation. The Obiano has served for 8 years without owing a dime to them. I'm talking about the salaries of workers. Soludo has continued in that direction. Yesterday he said it that the federal allocation didn't come in month of March. It didn't come in April. But Anambra workers, they went home with their pay. So we must commend a working government. So this time I want to say a thumbs up to Governor Soludo for actually taking it upon himself to continue from where Governor Obiano stopped. So that is why Anambra is different. So I want to urge them. Other governors should find a way and find out why Anambra workers are the happiest people in Nigeria.
Okay, find a way why Anambra workers are the happiest. I'm very happy, I'll tell you the truth. News, next paper is the New Telegraph. Let's look at what the Telegraph have for us this morning. The big story on the Telegraph says Workers' Day. Labour demands pay rise for soldiers, police and others. Of course, with riders there, promises worker-friendly party 16 million block votes. Nigerian workers suffer bare burden of political corruption. That's coming from ASU. Knocks traditional religious leaders. Kalu governors orders allowed workers' contributions to national development. Buhari Lawan Gbajabiamila orders absent at May Day celebration. Nigerian workers dependable allies in our electoral reform. Well, that's coming from the INEC. Big story, fine.
I want to talk on the big story, the Workers' Day. Labor demands, pay rise for soldiers, police, and all that.
All right.
There's every need for the pay rise, but the question is this: will the pay rise stop there being nuisance on the road?
Okay.
Because if you call the police, you call the soldiers, you call others, as is stated, the simple thing that comes to an average Nigerian mindset is that it's extortion on the road, on our roads. But the question here is that, is the pay rise going to give a solution to what we are facing now? Because, if you pay this person, they say it's not okay, they come to the road, they keep on, harassing people, motorists, they ask you for money, and we have heard series of, stories whereby because someone was unable to pay or give 100 naira or a particular amount to a military man, he was shot. It isn't a good news. It isn't welcoming. If this pay, I think what they should do, what Labour should do is that they should go and reorientate these military men, give them reorientation. Tell them the do's and don'ts on the road, how to make motorists or road users happy, because that's the important thing. It's not just about giving them pay rise and they are still on the road doing again the same thing.
All right, let's hear.
So that's what I have to say.
Yes, I will not just narrow it to the soldiers. In fact, the paramilitaries, all the security agents,
Uniform men,
every other person, including the teachers, including you and I, the journalists, everybody is talking about pay rise, take home, a better welfare package, and better welfare working conditions. But what I'm saying in this issue is that we are clamoring for pay rise, understood. Imagine in a situation whereby we're talking about some states not being able to pay salaries of workers, or let me just say federal government not being able to release the statutory federal allocation to some states. And you see some serving senators, serving ministers, and people who are holding political office holders going ahead to go and purchase forms for 100 million naira. And now we're talking about not having money to pay salary. And some persons are coughing out 100 million naira taxpayers' money to go and purchase form, APC presidential form.
And you
it's
and I
100
will still
million.
vote them in.
That is the problem we're talking about. So who is deceiving who? We are talking about there is no money, economic meltdown, recessions and subsidy distortions, but somebody is trying to take as much as 100 million naira to go and buy form. What for?
What he is saying, excuse me, is actually true. I stand with him, because it hurts, because if actually a political party should, being able to, even if you cut down your presidential form, to an average point, let me give it at that, and you put in this money into place, and yet the government come out and say there's no money, where did that other money go to? So does it mean it's now for only personal reasons money can be present or available for use?
All right, let's pause it there, because we have some other few more papers. Vanguard is next. Let's look at what Vanguard has for us this morning. The big one there in Vanguard is talking about the 2023 presidency, says anger as APC PDP moves seeding tickets to North. Okay, quickly let's also check the next paper, which is the Daily Independent. Let's look at the big one there. It says Nigerians weaker purchasing power piles more pressure on economy. And God Mayday, Labour gives conditions for 2023 general election. Quickly, let's look at this before we go to our last two papers. Abuchi, let me begin with you. Let's look at this coming from the Daily Independent. What's your take on that?
On what they still on the Workers' Day?
Yes, Daily Independent. They say workers is actually giving the federal government, Labour's.
And picking on the rider there, they said that the condition given by the workers leaders, labor leaders, that the condition given for the 2023 general elections. I think whatever they are going to do, or whatever conditions they are going to give, should be that the two leading political parties in Nigeria should cede their tickets, presidential ticket, to southeastern Nigeria.
Yeah.
That is the way to address these insecurities or youth restiveness we're having in Nigeria today. We have what we call a total of a good number of southeasterners are actually clamoring for give us this opportunity of being the president of this country, and a good number of Nigerians, well-meaning people, are actually believing that it is turn of Southeast people to do that. I expected that yesterday the Labour leaders should use that opportunity to say no, let it go to the southeastern Nigeria. We have there with the north central, the northeast to northwest should stay clear. The southwest should stay clear. The south should stay clear. It is the turn of the southeastern Nigeria to go ahead and be the president. That is what the Labour leaders should be doing. And not every now and then they are talking about being me, giving myself, and I. It is not about me all the time. Let's look at it holistically. Let's talk about things that will put a stop to this issue of a reckless and continuous rife in Nigerian government today. We need the presidential ticket. APC should give it an Igbo man of southeastern extraction, and PDP should do same. The idea of ceding it to North, my dear, if they should do that, it is better they said people should come down to a roundtable discussion. Let us go our separate ways. How can a reasonable person talking about ceding presidency to North at this point in time?
All right, let me pursue the Abuchi. Okay, let's quickly move on to the Guardian newspaper, which is the next newspaper. The big story there is still on the May Day celebration. Buhari silent on varsity strike deregulation as workers boo Ngige. Let's begin with you, Arinze. It's been months now, the ASU strike, and it looks as if the federal government has not been positive about that. Abuchi said something, not too long about the pay rise and some set of people having some amount of money to go purchase from. What is ASU really looking for that a particular person can spend 100 million? And I think that over 5 people has bought that from.
Yes, yes.
Where do we go from here?
Well, what I have to say is this. ASU needs to do everything within their power. Although it's the federal government that has to do it, but they have to do everything within their power to call off the strike. It's really not helping matters. It's really not helping issues. Our Nigerian students, I read on social media where someone was like saying something like her child who began nursery school is done. Why is she's still in school? I don't know if you get that point.
I get the message.
It's kind of funny and frustrating for a Nigerian student. So the ASU, needs to, and I'm even getting to hear now that ASU too want to join strike any moment from now. So you get to see that it's really, really not good. It's really not helping Nigerians. Anything the government need to do, the government need to also be considering the Nigerian students. It's very, very important. It's very, very vital. This strike really needs to be called off so that students can go back to school, finish as when due, and look for something doing.
All right, what's your thought on it too?
That's, I think it's high time we put an end to this issue. The question you asked, what the actual issue be, what's the issue with ASU? I think I agree with you. Sometimes our misplaced priority is than doing the right thing at the wrong time, okay? I don't see a reason, though we want a better working condition like I said earlier, but there's no point trying to see yourself a lecturer or a teacher trying to assume yourself a politician. Most of us are even more politicians than the politicians. If you go to academic circle, you see that the level of politicking there is even more dirtier than what we see in conventional politics. So what you're saying is that before you take up this job, that I want to be a teacher. Like while growing up, our parents would tell us why teachers are the people, in fact, if I use the word, the commonest people you can run to in terms of service delivery, selflessness. Today, it is no longer like that. We know that we all are buying things in high price and all that. A lot of price, goods are skyrocketed and all that, but we should still remember that we are serving the people. The kind of job we do, we should not equate it with that of those who are in public service, like that of the politicians. Are you getting my point? It's good the federal government should sit down and call us to run stable discussion, but they should have in mind that whatever thing they are looking for should be incommensurate with the service rendered. Most of the lecturers actually in the classroom, most of them are here making other businesses, getting money from all corners and leaving the students who suffer, who are the receiving end. So that what I'm saying is that I'm only trying to make a call to the lecturers why they are going about asking for a better welfare condition. They should equally know that their level of input should be commensurate with whatever demands they are making.
All right, finally, let's move on to our last paper this morning, which is the Tribune newspaper. As I got a big story on the Tribune this morning, and it has Buhari minister's orders miss resignation deadlines with riders there. Falana, Edo, Ajilo speak on chances. Let's look at May Day. Our 16 million block votes will go to worker-friendly parties. That's coming from Labour. Vows to mobilize workers against low-performing governors. Calls for general salary review for civil servants. 36 workers killed as a result of banditry in Kaduna. That's coming from NLC chairman. Quickly, what's your take on that?
Sudden. They simply put, sudden is actually something we all need to talk about more when they talk about the level of insecurity, the way it has deteriorated and the way it has degenerated. Nigeria is no longer safe anywhere. Okay, so and you look at the 36 in Kaduna, and you didn't know about what happened in other states, other parts of the country. The health hazard, those people have seen. In fact, workers are the endangered species in this part of the world because they don't regard them. Nobody talk about their security, their welfare. So when such a thing happens, the people who will be the greatest casualty will be Nigerian workers and strongly young men and women. So I'm saying that it is not about talking about Kaduna alone. They should look at it and get an actual figure of what really happened in other parts of the country. Because 36 years, I can tell you, if you look inwardly, you will discover that it is even more than the number we are giving out, and that in that particular Kaduna. Yes. So what's happening in southern Kaduna, if you look at the number of persons killed as a result of this banditry, and people are, in fact, it's even more, why we are using the word banditry, I think it's an understatement, it's an aberration. If the word banditry, we know the right name to call them, but we were shying away from that truth. So why are they not tagging them what they should, where they are supposed to be and what they are, so that every other person will treat them like as such, even the international communities.
Quickly, what do you have to say
within the past 2 months, you can bear me witness, we have heard a lot from Kaduna. Okay. A lot, more than a lot. You know, I don't know what is actually the problem when it comes to insecurity. If it is human power, if it is, you know, more people to work with security agencies, let the government employ them. You know, because I don't know, the first time it was on the train, we also heard the airport, now is on the road. You know, hearing all these things makes people scared of making use of the road. And not just scared of making use of the road. Now, when you want to say, okay, let me use flight in traveling, what if you don't have, you know, the finances to take you to where you wish to go through flight? So it means, and let me say what you're going for, you have a very, very important appointment to meet up where you're going to. So does that mean everything is all, you know, because someone who has phobia for road on a normal, you come and be giving him this news. Someone is going from here to Abuja and he knows he will pass through Kaduna. You come and be giving him this news. You just as in kill his vibe to travel.
All right. Well, that's really the most you can actually take this morning on the Papers Review. Well, you can actually go out, pick up the papers, and get yourself informed, educated, and of course entertained. And I want to say a very big thank you to my guest this morning. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Mr. Ifeanyi Chukwu is a phone number. Public Affairs Analyst. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
And of course, Comrade Abuchi Onwumelu, Public Affairs Analyst. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my brother. Anambra, thank you so much.
All right. Good morning, and Anambra will continue shortly. Please stay with us.